was just discussing there with Ali Velshi on the idea that Donald Trump is going to buy Greenland and turn it into a golf course now that all the ice is melting. I am not planning on spending a lot of time this evening talking about that. I mean, this is news in the Wall Street Journal tonight that the president has reportedly been inquiring about the prospect of buying Greenland. I mean, you've heard discussion about this already tonight on MSNBC, presumably who have heard some buzz about this today and tonight since this broke, since the Wall Street Journal published this. I mean, I'm already sort of against my better judgment that I'm talking about it at all. The reason I don't want to spend too much time on this is because I feel like this is kind of mean. I feel like somebody is not mean to Greenland. I mean, mean to the president. I feel like somebody is playing a joke on the president and he doesn't know it. I feel like somebody is trying to make him look dumb, right? So us talking about it, I feel a little bit like we're being complicit in that other person's mean trick. Now, we don't know who that other person is who's playing this joke on President Trump. The way the Wall Street Journal describes it is as such, quote, at a dinner with associates last spring, Mr. Trump said someone had told him at a round table that Denmark was having financial trouble over its assistance to Greenland. That person suggested he should consider buying the island. What do you guys think about that? The president asked the room. Do you think it would work? And you know what? That is a mean thing to do to a gullible person. I mean, to say to them, like in all seriousness, totally deadpan, hey, you know, big guy, you could buy Greenland. But according to the Wall Street Journal, the joke still doesn't quite make sense to President Trump. He may not have grasped exactly what was going on in that moment. I mean, according to people familiar with the discussions, the Wall Street Journal says, quote, Mr. Trump has repeatedly since then expressed interest. Since whoever this was first suggested to him, hey, big guy, maybe buy Greenland, he has apparently repeatedly expressed interest in actually trying to do so. Quote, in meetings, at dinners, and in passing conversations, Mr. Trump has asked advisors whether the U.S. can acquire Greenland. So I know sometimes I have a hard time with the news. And I know that this is like the #1 trending topic worldwide right now. I know it is a very popular topic of conversation this evening for all the obvious reasons. But I will just say, if you know the president, if you are, you go to dinners with him, you go to round tables with him, whatever. If you are in a position to play this kind of a mean joke on President Trump, understanding the contours of his mind and his ego, and knowing he might not really get that it's a joke and he might really run off with it and think he could do it. I mean, just do the country a favor and make it a more constructive joke. I mean, you could have just as easily told him, hey, Don, I heard Greenland is looking for a king. They want a new monarch with dictatorial powers. And you get like 10 planes, I heard. I heard you could totally do that if you gave up being president and you went there and asked them. I hear they're super interested in you. I mean, if you're going to play a joke on him, right? Tell him that. Tell him there's like a secret compartment in the presidential limousine that always has hot Big Macs in it. Or quarter pounders, either one, whichever you want. There's a secret compartment there. It's right on the back of the driver's compartment. You haven't found that yet? All the other presidents have been eating fresh, hot Big Macs in the presidential limousine for decades. You didn't find that compartment yet? It's a touch compartment. You just have to like touch it and it opens up. Right? Like, tell him that. Just sit back and wait for him to sneak off to go play in the limousine to try to find the hot burgers. I mean, if you know how his mind works, if you are going to play a joke on a president for whom nothing is off limits and nothing is ridiculous as long as it might provide him something he wants, then pick something that would help the country or that at least would be harmless or funny in the long run. I mean, now this guy is actually going to go try to buy, he's due to go to Denmark next month. Right now, it appears he actually thinks he can buy Greenland, and he might try to on behalf of the United States of America in real life. And that would make for an excellent plot for a Simpsons episode. I'm sure someday this whole episode will make a hilarious off-Broadway musical, right? But, I mean, choose your jokes carefully with this particular mind. he will believe what you tell him. And then, like, the fail-safes won't work, right? The intelligence community will show up to brief him that, sir, it's not actually possible for you to buy Greenland. And he'll dismiss them and call them the deep state, and then the only hope we'll have for, for shaking this idea loose out of his head will be if Fox and Friends can somehow be drafted on behalf of the nation to fact-check this someday to break the sad news to him. I mean, like, how else do we get out of this problem now? This is our life now. Anyway, let's talk about something else.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.